We're going to find Frank Castle.
Frank Castle is a Punisher. Number 2, Jason Aaron, Jesus Saiz, and one other guy I can't remember. Paul Azakita, right?
Wow. That was great. That was like a jingle. So, Punisher number 2. This is
Dreaming.
Book 1, Chapter 2, King of Killers. So we're getting a little bit more. I will say, I love that they keep this thing from the first issue of doing flashbacks in a different art style than.
I think it's a different
happening.
artist. I think Azakita does the flashback
stuff. Okay.
It's a lot rougher. Like the
I love that look though.
The art's right. So the art style of the general art style of, you could say, the current timeline or the current what's going on right now. The art style is very painted almost. It's fucking gorgeous and it's gory as fuck and it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
But it's almost painted, it looks like. And then the flashback scenes are very like Joe Kubert, or Kubert, I don't know how you, Kubert, but he's an old comic book artist. But Joe Kubert, he used to draw like that, kind of really just rough, but so beautiful. You can still, I mean, it's really, Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So we get a flashback of.
I love when they show his wife too. Like they throughout the series, they continue with like the bullet hole scars. Which is just really visceral. Yeah. Because you never don't see those. Yeah. While she's in the book, I think at the very end maybe.
So we have captions, but we notice the captions are red. And the red means we're having this from the perspective of the priestess. And she's talking about young Frank Castle, who's getting in trouble for having all the roadkill he's been bringing home. He's got guns that he's been gun magazines that he's been hiding. He's been getting into fights. She even mentions he already killed someone at this point, which is kind of fucked up. And again, this already reestablishes what I felt after the first issue, which is, okay, I like what we're doing here. We are continuing to build this mythos through the perspective of the priestess, right? And we are truly seeing what the idolization of someone like Frank Castle leads to. Yes. Although he is killing bad people, you shouldn't. Again, what we always get back to is he doesn't get to make that choice. Yes. He doesn't get to do that.
Just checking one thing. Keep going.
But it already kind of establishes that tone for me. And then after that scene, it shows Maria and Frank in bed. We see the bullet holes, and again, because of the hard change in art style, and the more painted on realistic look with the bullet holes is just really unsettling. Yeah. And it's kind of, and that's what you're supposed to feel, because you're like, oh my gosh, they found her corpse and reanimated her corpse.
You want to be reminded of that every fucking time. Yes.
And because this is Frank's story, he is reminded that, because when she's talking to him, she's like, I love my husband. He goes, I love my wife. And he's staring up. And then he changes. And
the art style, you can tell, like, they'll show that he is, like, while he's holding her, like, he can't help but, like, he can't help but, like, run his hands over the bullet holes. You know what I mean?
And
like,
have the flashbacks of her laying there and dying.
So even he's like, I know this isn't right. This isn't real,
These eyes have beheld blood-drenched perfection, is what they say. Wow. I just look at some of these shots. Like, again, the art is so good. And, especially with the Defenders book and, like, reading these two books in tandem is, like, you think about how much this medium has come as a visual. It's always obviously it's a comic book. It's always been a visual medium, but like if you go back and you look at those books in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they're very fucking wordy. Yeah. Whereas these are a lot more reliant on visuals, and there's a good amount of dialogue and captions and things like that. But I mean, like, there's some really good shots of just nothing's happening. It's just two characters being in the scene, and it looks great. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that scene with Maria is an example. Like, they're laying in bed, but it's still engaging because of that, the bullet hole, like the details of the bullet holes and the flashbacks and all that stuff. It's just, it's well crafted. Like, again, it's a really good book.
Mm.
We go to Frank training with the sword, and the priestess being like, "You are far and away. You are the you are the fist of the hand. Like, we believe in you. You don't need to do this." But Frank is like, "No, I want to do this." So then,
remember the first book, he said, "I'm having a little trouble with this because he didn't kill the guy
to get
right
better
the first
with
way."
the sword, yeah, with the katana.
Well, he's never. He's always been a bullet guy. So.
Oh, and one of my favorite thing. She goes, "You," to one of the hand ninjas. She goes, "You, what is your name?" He says, "It doesn't matter what my name is. All I am is a maggot at the foot of the beast." "Well done, maggot. Now tell the High Slayer when you first picked up your sword." And then they kind of go through and explain, like, these are sold into slavery. These are people that came from Latveria and all these bad places.
Yeah.
And so he has a fight with the one that has a mask on. They call Maggot. He catches the sword. It cuts through his hand, but then he breaks both the swords and then headbutts him, and his, like, helmet breaks. And again, because of the art style, the blood and gore of this book is so visceral.
Yeah.
Because the priestess was like, she goes, this is where this issue in particular probably would piss off a lot of fucking chuds. And I'm sure it did when it came out. But the fact that she says, "I always knew the best killer for the hand," she says, "For centuries now, one land has shown as a propensity for violence beyond all others. From genocide to slavery to shopping mall shootings, in today's world, if you seek the king of killers, you look to America."
Do you remember when I was reading this first time and I brought this to you and showed it to you?
Yeah.
Because I wanted you to see how, like, ouch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that or not, but the shot, I mean,
Yeah.
is this where she shows that she killed all the
leaders
of the hand?
other
That's
zealots.
fucking badass.
There's
She
blood
literally
all over.
killed every other, like, high priest.
Because I just, like, I know what I'm going for him.
Because they were pissed that she was trying to get a Gaijin.
Outsider and, an American.
So fucking, like, and dude, that is, I fucking hate to tell you this, America, but those words are fucking true whether you like it or not.
We kill each other
and
a lot.
we are not doing jack shit about it. It is getting worse, and people in power who have the power to do things aren't doing shit. So, moving on.
Yeah. And one of my things that I like about this is Frank does have some good one-liners. Because she keeps going on and on about him, and he just goes, "Preach your sermons all you like. Just make sure your people kill who I tell them to kill and no one else, or deals off." And I like this because, again, this is what makes the Punisher so interesting, I think, in some way. Where it's like, he's full of shit. Frank Castle is full of shit.
Yep.
And again, this book is deconstructing it more and more because he is still extremely violent and kills a lot of people in this book. But he still thinks he can have a moral code and be like, "Well, I'm killing these people." And again, it goes back to that thing. And I know that's going to be the theme of this book is like, you don't get to decide that.
Yeah.
You don't.
No.
But then you got this fucking priestess pumping him up, saying like, "Yes, you do."
And there's nothing worse.
These people deserve to be killed.
And there's nothing worse than a cop using the Punisher logo.
And that's really what this whole story is taking
There's
that logo
nothing
and
worse,
saying
dude.
that, like, people need to understand that Frank Castle's not a hero.
No. He's a piece of shit who kills people. He's a murderer. He's a cold-blooded murderer.
But yeah, so then we get get a flashback to show that the priestess was knew about Frank a long time ago.
When he was like a kid.
And she hands him a knife, and he tells her to fuck off. Which, again, can I just say, this is what's so dumb as shit about comic books. Why is this censored?
What do you mean?
fuck. He says fuck off, and it's censored.
Oh well, yeah, but they've always done that.
No. You can't. This is what's so stupid about this.
It's not censored. They always use the ampersands and stuff to denote cursing.
Just say fuck.
They've always done that, and it's not
a book like this.
True.
Come on.
Whatever.
I know, just a little nag. But
we got to get to the best
the
part, which
of War
oh my
show
god,
up. One of them does with a Hulk gun.
Yeah.
And tells them about it like a sign of peace, and Frank just destroys it with a sword, with a katana.
But he's unarmed, or is he?
Oh my god, dude!
Right?
So he's like, "See, you'll see him unarmed," and then rips open a fucking wound,
a fucking
stitched shut, pulls out a gun. It says, "The gift of death that bless the war," and then
Castle just beats the fuck.
Castle.
He starts showing the powers of the Fist of the Beast, which is supernatural.
His eyes are glowing red, and
we're talking omniscience and super strength, and I mean, we're talking cosmic power here.
Yeah, they're turning.
This is just
they're turning
the
Punisher into the God of War.
This is just the beginning.
What's happening?
Yes and no.
In a way, he's gonna fight the God of War. I know
right,
that.
but
the only war I give a damn about is mine. When I'm like, so there's Frank slipping and telling us the truth and showing us
he
again.
Said the quiet part out loud.
He's a shitty dude. A hero would never say that. The only war I care about is mine. I don't care if all these people kill each other. Oh my god. But again, he's mad. Before that, has an outburst because they're going to criminals his weapons. But then he decides, like, he's such a fucking hypocrite, and I love it. I love that this book is.
This is one of the most important. This is the most important Punisher story you'll ever read, ever, and especially as somebody who grew up in the era when Punisher became such a huge thing,
and people didn't get that he's not a good person, and
I might not have either.
Anti-hero doesn't mean
might not have either, because in those stories, a lot of the stories in the 80s and 90s, they were very clear. He's killing drug dealers. He's killing. But this story is telling us
it's not good. You shouldn't kill people.
It doesn't matter. Yes.
Anyway, she presents the 3 daggers that she presented in the first issue, and then in the flashback earlier. So he finally picks his dagger.
That's fucking that part where she describes who it was. Describe it. Read it.
Oh, jeez.
I'll read it.
As a child, you.
Okay.
That is the very same dagger that was wielded by Shinsuke Ishiyama. I think Ishiyama, the dread daimyo of.
Daimyo.
You know what? You read it because I can't.
That's what I was. It's fine.
Well, you know what?
I love this shit. As a child, you wanted to choose but hesitated. This time, you proved yourself true. That is and she's crying. You know what I mean? Like happy tears. That is the very same dagger that was wielded by Shinsuke Ishiyama,
and he
the
was
dread
a bad
daimyo
motherfucker.
of Kumamoto and last known Fist of the Hand, who committed seppuku 144 years ago, killing himself just as beautifully as he had butchered so many thousands of others. But there's a picture of it, of this dude in this like demon mask in this like flaming like room, just fucking slicing this dude's neck open.
It's beautiful.
Right? It's again, we've talked about this a couple times that, since we've been doing this. I want to make it clear. I don't glorify in this violence and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. I don't think too much violence is a bad thing. I know we're capable of it, but I think it's important to understand this, whatever. And we're going to get to the rest of the book.
God, man, it's entertaining.
But the way it's done and drawn, it is so, again, at the end, too, where he meets the god
he
of
meets
the
the
hand,
murder god.
Which is just this gigantic
Behold
fucking
your
demon.
god.
And you can tell he's unsure
Bow
if he's
your god.
you can tell he's unsure if he's on the right path there.
Yeah.
He's got like, oh my god, am I really
the high, but just like
'cause
the
Frank
name
Castle,
the name High Slayer is cool. High Slayer of the Hand.
Think about it like this though. Frank Castle was derived from Castiglione. His parents changed it when they were in America, okay? But he's Italian Catholic. He was raised Catholic, and he's being told to bow to the devil. Look at his face in that next panel and tell me he's not having second thoughts. But the end part, holy fuck,
so then we
dude.
cut to
Because we haven't seen Ares yet.
we have a
We've heard
gun.
about him.
We have an arms deal, and our introduction is him punching a dude in the face
so hard.
His jaw is reconstructed.
The bottom of his jaw is still there, but the rest of it is just gone.
In the words of who's the dude who did Bad Leroy Brown?
Baddest man in the whole world.
Yeah, who did that?
I don't know. Jim Croce.
Jim Croce. In the words of Jim Croce, he looked like a jigsaw puzzle with a couple pieces gone, to say the least. So yeah, we finally see. But again, it's done, written and drawn so well that you don't actually see Ares, and he's like, oh god, he's up in the air, and he just crushes this
But
car.
he just destroys.
And you see how much bigger he is than these normal looking people.
He's not a regular human size.
And you look at him as like, oh, this is a Greek god. This is literally a Greek god.
Which I think is
And
cool
then
that
he
he's got the
stands-
suit, right?
Yeah, and he stands. Yeah, and you know what? Funny enough, it reminds me of Percy Jackson in a way, where it's like, oh, we're gonna
bringing you back around on Ares, isn't he?
No, I still fucking hate him because
Yeah,
he's
he's a
lame.
fucking
I'm
douche,
just kidding. But anyway, it says war it is, and exactly how I want it. And he's stepping on someone's skull.
He's crushing somebody's skull while he does it. But I
What a
I gotta one thing I just don't want to pass over this. This is why he's mad at them. Okay.
because they wouldn't go to war.
Yeah, you cowards, you eagerly take of the bounty I bring to this world, my guns, and then you dare commit the greatest of insults. Insults, all due respect, I got no idea what you're talking about. We paid you apostles for every last bullet and bomb. You paid with money. I care nothing for money. You insult my weapons by not using them. Rival tongues surrendered as soon as they saw our firepower. Weren't no need for war. What did you just say? Look, we don't want trouble. That's why we came all this way, just to make peace with...
Oh, and then that makes him punch that
Yeah.
dude's face into oblivion.
And where does he say it?
You
How
don't
dare
say
you
the
use
P word in front
about-
of me. I was like, oh my god. But that's what I mean.
He's
That's
such
what
a,
makes Jason
he's the
Aaron so-
ultimate chud, dude.
That's what I
he's
mean.
the ultimate chud.
That's what I mean. Jason Aaron is so good. He also makes Ares this fucking loser.
Yes.
And I love it.
It's
I
fucking
love
great.
it.
I fucking love that book. Yeah.
Bless the war. Fucking.
It's funny, but it's also kind of cool, but it's also
I love it.
Yeah,
It's great.
fucking great.
It's
yeah.
great. Can't wait to read number 3. Tyler,
Oh, boy.
I don't really have one, but I know you have one.
Yeah,
so
well, let's
we
close
got
out
a
the show on a
special
high
one.
note. We got a special one, and that's good because I'm about ready to be out of here anyway. Touch and bust. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.